Hello again, and here today we're going to tackle the demystification of good old Crackle glaze. For the purpose of this particular product demo, I'm going to use 3 separate boards, which I'm just going to give an undercoat of a dark colour. Now this is the colour that's going to come through when the Crackle glaze starts to react. So the colour you want to show through on your cracks is the base paint. This particular glaze works best over a chalk-based paint, which obviously the Autentico is, but it just gives it something to sit on. So a quick coat of paint, and then once this is dry, we'll apply the glaze. I've got 3 boards here because I'm going to show you the differences of how the glaze is affected by the thickness that it's applied in, and also when obviously it's reacting to heat, so it's easier to have 3 boards to show you the different stages and how to get a heavier duty effect. Okay. Step 2, once your paint has dried, you need to apply the Crackle glaze. Now it is random in its nature because obviously crackles want to be random, but it does depend on the amount that you actually pop on the surface as to just how big or heavy duty your cracks will be. So board 1, liberal, I'm going to spread it on but not too thinly, so I want it to be really quite thick so it's just sitting there. It is going to take quite some time to dry, and it has to be dry before you put your second coat on. Now you can actually dry it with the hairdryer. A little bit more on there. So it's a really, really heavy duty crack we're looking for on this piece of board. Okay, second one, a little bit thinner. What I'm hoping to show you with this is the effect the amount of the glaze that you put on has on the size of the cracks. As I say, it's totally random. I've done this before and it's not done anything at all. I've done it quickly and it's just gone completely berserk. Random is the word. And then on this final board, I'm literally just going to clean my brush. So just get all the glaze off the brush. Be careful not to leave your brushes with the glaze on, because glazes can actually eat some brushes. It's not that it's toxic, it just kills bristles particularly. This is a synthetic one. So there you go, 3 different thicknesses. So now we just need to leave that to dry, and then it's show time. Okay, so now we reach phase 3. The glaze is dry, and you have to paint your top coat over the glaze. Now you don't get long to do this, and it is just a one coat does all process. The problem with this, or with the glaze, is once it's on, it's for life. Unless you take it right back down to the wood, every time you try and paint over it, the crackle will react again to the paint. So you get your nice smooth coat on, and then you leave it alone. Starts to react immediately. Add a bit of heat. And as you can see, off she goes. That's the heavy duty one. So the hotter it gets, the bigger the cracks will become. Now the other 2 are also turning as I'm doing this, because the heat from the gun is affecting them. And as the paint dries, the cracks appear. And as you can see on this one where I just cleaned the brush, down the edge there, a little bit of heat and away it goes. Now it just depends on the effect you want, and just to prove how random this stuff is, these 2 boards, the far side was the heavy application, the middle one was literally 50%, but yet the biggest cracks are on this one. It's something you need to practice with, And generally, if you're doing a piece, you'll only want this effect around the edge, so you only have to paint the undercoat and the crackle on the areas you want to go. So obviously the main part of your piece may be solid block finish, but if you want this around the edge, then just paint those bits that you want doing. You can wax it, you can just put it onto a set surface and just use wax to colour the cracks, but I actually prefer it when it comes through like this. As I said, the middle one, which is a half application, the cracking is actually heavier on that than it is on the heavy one. As you can see from the piece I cleaned the brush on, the brush piece, the light application, you've got a nice little bit of cracking going on there, and it is random because it was I covered the whole piece. This one, as I say, the middle application, which was about half of the one at the end there, and the cracks are actually as heavy, if not heavier, hence the randomness of the product. That said, it's the randomness of it that make it, so I think you'll agree. It's actually quite a simple thing to use, but be prepared for it not to go exactly to plan.